Teenagers' mental health is degrading. 73% of Filipino Gen Zs report to be struggling with mental health issues. Also, Gen Z is 1.4 to 2.3 times more likely to be diagnosed with a mental health condition than other generations. And what's worse is that we take these alarming statistics lightly. When a child says that they're depressed or anxious, the parent simply says, you have nothing to be depressed or anxious about. You don't pay the bills, taxes, or mortgage. You're being dramatic. It's just a phase. This cycle of dismissal and misunderstanding is something we've seen for generations. It's part of our culture. But it's something that we can change together. So, if the parents of a child refuse to help them, or if the child is, say, for example, born into an abusive household, then who can the child run to? Where can they go? Well, they can go to school. But there's something I find lacking about the system we have in place. I'm aware that we have guidance counselors, but I think we should have psychiatrists too. Let me explain. There are a lot of things that psychiatrists can do that psychologists cannot, that I find important for school children nowadays. Counselors can listen, psychologists can assess, but only psychiatrists can diagnose. Let me remind you of how important a diagnosis is. It's just the same as having a physical illness. How are you supposed to heal from your disease if you don't even know that you have it, nor what disease it is, nor who can help you with it? Another thing is the medical side. Psychiatrists are doctors. They can prescribe medicine. Of course, while avoiding over-medicalization, we have to set up a system that gives medication to those who need it most. I want that every student gets to walk into the school clinic for whatever health issue they're facing, not just the strictly physical ones. Because at the end of the day, mental health issues are physical too. Think of panic attacks where you can get dizzy and nauseous. Think of depressive episodes where you can get fatigue and insomnia. Many children go through these issues all the time and have nowhere to turn to because, again, there remains a toxic Filipino mindset that mental health is not real, not important, and that negative thoughts are just demons speaking to us. But no, that's not true. And until we can get rid of this notion that mental health is fake, which will take decades and decades, we have to do whatever in our power to protect our youth. Speaking of protection, if we have psychiatrists in our school, they can provide professional support for crisis management. Remember those panic attacks I mentioned earlier? How about suicidal attempts? Tell me, why are these treated differently from, say, a student fainting, when they're both fundamentally the same? They're both medical emergencies. And if you don't see it that way, that's only further evidence about how much work we still have to do to destigmatize mental health and stop it from being so separated in notion from physical health. Mental health is physical health. It's not just in their heads. What kids are going through nowadays is real. Though we may not understand why this depression pandemic is happening, we have to be there to support our school children. Furthermore, having psychiatrists in schools normalizes mental health. It'll destigmatize it. It'll destigmatize, turning into something that's acceptable to talk about and no longer taboo and mysterious. Now for the counter-arguments. The one and only valid reason I can find against my argument is that adding psychiatrists to schools is expensive. Well, they're doctors. We all know that doctors get paid very well. Where can we get the funds for it? Perhaps we could get schools to partner up with hospitals. Perhaps we could let fresh psychiatry graduates have their residency in school so that it's hitting two birds with one stone. I may not have all the logistics figured out, but one thing is clear. Doing nothing costs far more. Adding psychiatrists to schools is expensive, but so is ignoring students' mental health. Think about the dropouts, the suicides, and the wasted potential. Imagine how much better we can function as a society if access to psychiatric healthcare was just around the corner for every student. If we can find the money for roads, buildings, public events, then why can't we find the money for saving lives? Both the Department of Education and the Department of Health can work hand in hand to reallocate some funds into finding psychiatrists for schools. Then again, at the end of the day, the reason why it's so crucial to have psychiatrists in schools is because most parents won't let their children go to psychiatrists in hospitals. So, here's an alternative proposal. We could educate our parents. We could let parents attend government-hosted seminars and workshops about mental health. We could spread information about mental health in social media platforms commonly used by millennials. However, it will take ages to replace a mindset that has been around since forever. So, let's do what's more possible now. Let's protect our youth. Let's give importance to mental health because it affects physical health. And let's not wait until it's too late. Let's give students someone to turn to. Let's make school a place of healing, not just learning.